Hello and welcome to Insight. I'm Antoine Lindley. 24 hours a day, both construction and labor workers are working to build Africa's largest hydroelectric power plant, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. It's a project worth over $4 billion, a project that can very well change the lives and the economy of Ethiopia. Stay with us for a closer look at Ethiopia's hydropower future. Insight is brought to you by our proud partners. Coca-Cola, open happiness. St. George Beer, the first Ethiopian beer since 1922. Today's program is brought to you by Mesfin Industrial Engineering. Ethiopia, home to over 80 million people, is a country on the fast track of development and transformation. As the economy and population grows, so does the need for more energy. Increased power generation is essential, from mass industrialization to a small kid's desire to learn. Energy is key to the country's development.
When you see the energy consumption pie diagram, it is industry is the major consumer, then followed by the service and commercial sector, and then the domestic sector. So the urban development with an anticipated scale and the rural development and what we have today is not in proportion. That's why the government designed not the conventional approach, but a sense of urgency, fast-track projects implementation. So in this respect, we have a long way to go, and we have to do it fast without any delay.
To match the growing power demand to the country's fast development, Ethiopia set forth a power plan to increase the generation capacity to 10,000 megawatts. More than 8,000 megawatts will be covered by Ethiopia's hydroelectric power development. Considered the water tower of Africa, Ethiopia has the capacity to produce over 45,000 megawatts of hydroelectric power, energy power that can make a difference in the lives of the economy and the people. Realizing the country's potential, Ethiopia moved forward to begin building the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, formerly known as the Millennium Dam. Fully funded by Ethiopian citizens and Ethiopians abroad, regardless of their political affiliations, came together to realize the dream of pulling the country and its people out of poverty and determination.
ምንም ያህል ድሃ ብንሆንም ድህነታችንን ለማስወገድ ማንኛውንም መስዋዕትነት ለመክፈል ዝግጁ ነን። ስለዚህ ፕሮጀክቱ መሰራት አለበት እንደሚል ላፍታም ያህል አልጠራጠርም። እንዲህ አይነቱ ቁርጠኝነት ተኪ የሌለው ኃይላችን ቢሆንም ብቻውን ግን በቂ አይደለም። ቁርጠኝነት ወደ ተጨባጭ የልማት ፋይናንስነት እንዲሸጋገር ከተፈለገ መላው የኢትዮጵያ ሕዝብ ይህን ታሪካዊ ግድብ ለማሰራት የበኩሉን ቀጥተኛ ድርሻ መወጣት ይጠበቅበታል።
To see the progress and development of the dam, my crew and I took a charter plane for a bird's-eye view of the site. Located on the Blue Nile River near the border with Sudan. With a length of 1,780 meters and 140 meters in height, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam upon completion will be the largest hydropower plant in Africa. It is sunrise, and site workers arrive by the busload. Workers representing Ethiopia's diverse nations and nationalities from various regions join together to build what will soon become the image of national pride and a symbol for Africa's development.
All are ready to going out for the blasting zone and to communicate surrounding the places. The road is closed, everything is safe. The blasting is over.
Even at night, evening shift workers continue in making the continent's symbol of progress a reality.
This Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam project includes the main dam, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which is being built across the Blue Nile River, the Saddle Dam, the two powerhouses, which are located on the downstream side of the dam, the 500 kilovolt switchyard, which we will use as a switch gear yard before we connect the generated power to the national grid. And these are the main component or features of the project. So as you witnessed, we are progressing the construction of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam.
With the capacity to produce 6,000 megawatts of power, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is the largest hydropower plant in Africa. Even the design and construction is based on international standards.
We are following all the international standards, requirements that are needed when you are constructing such kind of hydropower plant. And at the same time, the companies already engaged in this project are highly reputed and professionals.
We have two big contractors that are working together. They have to work in synergy as well. At the end of the day, the dam is for generating electric and hydroelectric power. So there are civil work and there are other electromechanical and hydraulic structures. So at the moment, we say it's around 23% performance overall. And regarding to its plan, it's going in tandem with the plan that has been designed.
Currently, there are, about 5,000 workers here at the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam hydroelectric project site, out of which more or less 210 are expatriates, and about 20 nationalities are engaged in this project.
Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is very important for Ethiopia and the region. This is a very instrumental dam. It is very important for the reduction of poverty.
Hydropower of the Grand Renaissance nature has a very high positive externality on economic growth. So if you take the 15,500 gigawatt hour production was an average price, even modest price in the African energy market, you say 10 cents per kilowatt hour, which means about 1.5 billion US dollar revenue. If you take average price in Europe, it could be 2-3 times that. If you take the peak price in Europe, the German energy price, electricity is energy, wherever you go, in America or in Europe, in Asia, electric energy is the same product. So it goes up to 9 billion annual turnover.
Making way for the $4.2 billion dam, Ethiopia temporarily diverted the Nile water. There were some concerns, but experts say diverting the Nile water will have no negative effect on the lower stream countries, such as Sudan and Egypt.
The amount of water falling and the amount of water accumulated in this dam could be discharged just to generate hydropower. So it is nowhere to divert this water. It is rather included in or following its normal flow. And rather it increase the amount of water flowing during the dry seasons. So it is very useful, and we can say that it is like a saving of water for dry seasons.
Diversion doesn't mean to reduce the flow of water. Diversion means it is simply rerouting the water flow for construction.
The Blue Nile River is flowing through the temporary open channel, which we have already constructed as a diversion channel. The original area at which various activities of the dam is carried out has now become without water. We have already pumped the water between the upstream and downstream plugs within the coffer dam. That's the reason why we diverted the water, in order to make accessible the part of the dam at which it will be rest on the riverbed. Part of the dam will rest on this riverbed, on this part of the river. So this part of the river should be without water, in order to carry out investigation, excavation and placing of concrete. And in order to do so, we constructed on the right side of the normal course of the river an open channel which will accommodate the maximum flow of the Blue Nile, and we plug within this area on the upstream and downstream within this section, so that the water was diverted through or flows or forced to flow through that artificially made open channel without affecting the volume and the direction. The total length of the diversion channel is 1,100 meters. Within that stretch, the water flows to the downstream, and it joins the normal course as it was before.
Stretching over 1,400 kilometers, the Nile River flows with rich history. And there is a debate about fair share of the water regarding the 1929 and 1959 agreement on Nile River between Egypt and Sudan.
The olden days treaties like 1929 and 1959. Those treaties are currently, for Ethiopia, it is outdated, not only for Ethiopia, for Nile Basin countries. Those treaties are outdated and we don't accept it. The Nile has no legal framework up to now, has not institutions that manages the overall river basin. So the legal framework agreement forces or enables to have legal framework and institutions for the management of the Nile Basin.
The Cooperative Framework Agreement would therefore strive to enable an equal share of the water. As progress is being made on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Egypt has voiced concerns and fears of the project. Ambassador Mohammed, how important is the Nile River to Egypt and her people?
Nile water to Egypt equals life. It is the source of all living phenomena in Egypt, whether it is people, whether it is plants, whether it is livestock. So all living phenomena in Egypt depends on the Nile, because as you know, Nile is the only source of water to Egypt. We have very scarce rain. We have no other rivers, so we are totally dependent in all forms of life in Egypt on the Nile water. But also, before departing this point, I would like to say that the relation between Egypt and our dear host country, Ethiopia, is broader than this issue only. Because sometimes the relation is only viewed from this narrow angle, and I don't think this is the right way to look at it. The relation between these two countries, between these two great peoples, goes back deep in history. It's a multidimensional one, has got lots of aspects, and that's why now in our approach with the relation between Egypt and Ethiopia in this new phase of the relation, we are trying to tackle it and approach it from all these aspects and on all those tracks. The economy, the trade, the investment, the cultural relation, the religious relation, the academia relation, the civil society, the parliamentarians. So we are trying to look to this relation from its entirety, not only from the narrow angle of water, though of course this is very important and crucial angle as well, of course.
1929, as well as in 1959, Egypt and Sudan entered a Nile River Agreement. Why was such agreement needed and on what basis?
Some of these agreements happened when the British were dominating our countries, Egypt and other countries as well. Maybe Ethiopia was the lucky sisterly country not to be subject to hegemony from other colonial powers. But always the drive, and part of it, of course, happened after we got independence, but in all cases, what happened from the drive of Egypt was always not causing any harm to any other country.
On May 28th, 2013, Ethiopia temporarily diverted the Nile River. Egypt was not too happy about that action. Why?
There was a misperception here. Of course, many Egyptians maybe thought that this diversion means that the Nile water is cut from reaching Egypt. And here were again the role of responsible positive media in clarifying issue in an objective manner. But some, of course, unfortunate circumstantial aspects led to complicating the reaction on both sides at that moment. One of it, again, as I was saying, the misperception that the Egyptian side thought that this would be, or the Egyptian people who are not well into the technicalities of what diversion means and what this step meant, They thought that this would mean to cutting the water from reaching Egypt. So of course, again, as a reflex response, when you feel that your life is threatened, you are trying to protect your life. This great river should be a source of cooperation. This river which gets us together should be an area of common benefit for all countries, not an area of dispute or contention or disagreement.
The dam means a lot to our country. First of all, the main focus of the government and the people is to transform the country. We need to get out of this poverty and have a vision to become a middle-income country in few years. So this project, this dam, is a key component of our transformation.
How will it change the economy and lives for those in Ethiopia?
Industry cannot survive, without the human element. So, be it local or foreign direct investment, people will be employed. So they will earn a living for their own, for their family. On top of it, they will get a lot of training to understand, to operate, the system, the machines. So by so doing, there will be knowledge transfer, technology transfer. So this will be a good basis for technological development even of the country. So it is beyond employment generation. It's beyond, this import-export or foreign currency generation, beyond producing, competitive goods or services, which is the yardstick, for development. You have to be competitive to live in this world.
How will the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam benefit both upper and lower stream countries?
Well, this dam has a lot of benefits, not only to Ethiopia, but to other countries as well. For countries who are in the downstream, who are the current beneficiaries of the whole Nile basin, definitely they will still be benefited after we build, this dam. The first benefit, not in terms of priority, but in terms of benefit is they will get a constant flow of water. It's a regulated water. There is a dam, there is a storage here. So it will be controlled. So there will be smooth, constant flow of water to these countries. So whatever irrigation scheme they have now, whatever potential they have to expand their irrigation scheme, there is still big room because there is a regulated water, there is a constant flow they can rely on, so they can continue their irrigation, be it Sudan or Egypt.
Egypt has expressed concerns and fears of this project. How has Ethiopia addressed these concerns and fears?
From Ethiopian side, we called for a panel of experts. That initiative was mainly to clear any doubts, any issues of genuine concern as well. So that is also exemplary from the Ethiopian side. We say, let's see what are the issues. Let's discuss on the table. If there are genuine issues, then we are ready to accommodate. And otherwise, the whole purpose was to clear the cloud and to give them comforts as well, that there is a genuine genuine interest from Ethiopia side to collaborate. We have never had this collaborative environment on this Nile basin. There was a big gap. The beneficiaries were only two countries, I can say. So this calls for a new change in the collaboration. So we are building this in the spirit of collaboration. As far as Ethiopia is concerned, we say this is not only for Ethiopia. This is also for Egypt, for Sudan, and for others as well. Because at the end of the day, all the countries will benefit from energy as well, not only from water, but from energy supply. You will get cheaper energy supply, and this will be good even for Africa.
This concludes our program. I'm Antoine Lindley, and from all of us from Insight, thanks for watching.